The battlefield still smoldered long after the last shots had been fired. Charred hull fragments of both human and alien ships littered the open plain. Ash drifted in the air, carried by winds that still carried the acrid scent of ozone and burned alloy. Silence ruled the ground now, broken only by the crackle of scattered fires and the distant groan of ruptured engines finally giving way to gravity. I staggered across the field, my boots sinking into blackened soil. My armor was dented, one shoulder plate completely torn away. My weapon hung uselessly at my side, the power cell drained. I had survived the encounter. Barely, but survival didn't feel like victory. Not when the dead lay in every direction. We had come to this outpost not to fight, but to negotiate. The Kalari were a proud warrior race, reptilian in appearance, but not without reason. I had believed peace was possible. The higher-ups insisted it was only a matter of time before they attacked. They were right and I was wrong. A weak groan pulled me from my thoughts. I froze, hand instinctively going to the empty holster at my hip. The sound wasn't human. It carried a guttural edge, half growl, half breath. Turning toward it, I saw her. Kalari warrior. She lay crumpled near the shattered wreck of a dropship, her scaled skin torn and scorched in several places. Armor shards clung to her body like broken shells. Blood, dark and iridescent, seeped from a wound in her side. Even from a distance, I could see the rise and fall of her chest was shallow, labored. An enemy. Logic told me to turn away. Orders told me to leave her. My people would call me a fool for even considering what I was about to do. But I couldn't ignore the sight of a wounded being, left to die alone in the ashes of war. I approached carefully, hands visible, showing I held no weapon. Her golden eyes snapped open the instant my shadow fell over her. She hissed, baring teeth sharp enough to pierce bone. Her claws twitched, reaching for a weapon she no longer had. "I'm not here to hurt you," I said, my voice rough but steady. Her gaze narrowed, distrust and exhaustion warring inside her. She coughed, the sound wet. "Human," she rasped. The word came out mangled but recognizable. "Yes," I answered. "Human. And you're dying." She growled, a sound more of pride than threat. "Then let me die." I should have walked away. I should have let her pride be her grave. Instead I crouched, pulling the small medpack from my belt. "Not happening," I said firmly. When I reached for her wound, her clawed hand shot up and clamped around my wrist. Even injured, her strength was terrifying. Pain flared as her grip dug into my skin, but I didn't flinch. I looked her in the eye, unblinking. "If I wanted you dead, I'd leave," I told her. "I'm trying to help." For a moment, neither of us moved. Then, with a faint snarl of frustration, she released me. Her wound was bad, too deep for a field patch to close completely. Still, I sprayed the foam sealant and wrapped what I could, slowing the bleeding. She hissed at the sting but didn't pull away. When I finished, she lay back, chest heaving, her eyes studying me with a mix of confusion and something else. "Why?" she asked at last, her voice faint. "Why help, enemy?" I looked across the battlefield, at the corpses of humans and Kalari alike. "Because if we keep treating each other like nothing more than enemies," I said quietly, "we'll never be anything else." She closed her eyes, as if weighing my words against a lifetime of teachings. I needed to get her to safety. My comms were dead, but my squad would be regrouping at the extraction point several clicks east. If I could carry her there, maybe, just maybe, she'd survive. When I moved to lift her, she protested weakly, claws scraping against my chest plate. "No, leave me." I shook my head. "Not a chance." Sliding my arms beneath her, I lifted her onto my back. She was heavier than I expected, easily outweighing me by 50 kilos. My knees buckled, but I steadied myself. With a grunt, I started walking. Every step was agony. My armor was damaged, my ribs bruised, and the Kalari's weight bore down like a living mountain. But I pushed forward. One step, then another, and another. Her head rested near my shoulder, and after a while, her voice came, quiet and strained. "You are fool." "Yeah," I panted. "Been told that before. You risk your life, for nothing." "Not nothing," I said. "For someone." She didn't respond, but I felt her grip tighten slightly around my shoulder, claws careful not to pierce the fabric. Hours seemed to pass as I trudged through the ruins. The battlefield gave way to jagged cliffs, then to a forest burned half to cinders. My body screamed for rest, but stopping wasn't an option. At one point I stumbled, knees hitting dirt. She stirred, eyes opening sluggishly. "Leave me," she whispered again, weaker this time. I forced myself up, breath ragged. "Not happening," I muttered. "So stop asking." To my surprise, a low, rasping sound came from her. "Laughter." "You are stubborn," she said. "Comes with the uniform," I replied. When I finally reached the extraction zone, relief hit me like a wave. Human soldiers were there, along with medics. They saw me staggering out of the tree-line with the alien draped across my back. Instantly, rifles leveled at us. "Drop the hostile," a sergeant barked. "She's wounded," I shouted back, my voice cracking. "She needs help." The soldiers exchanged looks. No one lowered their weapons. "She's the enemy," another said coldly. "We don't patch up their kind." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. After everything, after dragging her across half a battlefield, they wanted me to drop her like garbage. "She's alive because I carried her here," I snapped. "And she'll stay alive because you're going to help." The sergeant's jaw tightened. "Orders are clear. No medical aid for Kalari. Step aside, soldier." My heart pounded. I shifted her weight on my back, planting my feet. "No," I said. "I won't." The air grew tense. Fingers hovered over triggers. For a moment I thought they might actually fire. Then the alien stirred, her golden eyes flickering open. She looked around at the humans, pointing rifles at her. Her voice was faint but steady as she said, "This human carried me across fire and death. He is no enemy." Silence fell. My squad stared, unsure what to make of her words. Finally, the medic swore under his breath and pushed past the others. "Damn it. Move aside. I'll treat her." Relief crashed over me so hard I nearly collapsed. Gently, I lowered her onto the stretcher. Days later, I visited her in the makeshift medical bay. She was awake, stronger now, though still bandaged. When she saw me, her expression shifted. Less guarded, more curious. "You defied your kind," she said softly. "And you're still alive," I replied. "So I'd say it was worth it." She studied me for a long time before nodding. "Perhaps humans are not as weak as we thought." Chuckled. "And maybe Kalari aren't as heartless as we thought." For the first time, a small smile touched her lips. A strange, fierce thing, but real. "Perhaps," she agreed. That was the day something changed. Not just between her and me, but between our people. She returned to her kind with the story of a human who carried her when no one else would. I returned to mine with the truth that even enemies could bleed, laugh, and hope the same way we did.